This is the case of the state of Georgia versus the defendant, Hemy Neuman. As Rusty walks to his car, the defendant approaches him, walking toward him, pulls his gun, and he shoots him 3 times. The man wanted someone else's life, so he killed her husband. He got caught, and all of a sudden he's insane.
This case is not about what happened. We know what happened. This case is about why.
Did you ever tell Rusty about the poem or the defendant's feelings towards you?
No.
Why not?
I really thought that I could handle it.
Hemy Neuman says, "This is the last one for me. I know it won't help, but please never forget how much I love you." And how did you respond?
I know, but so do other people. I betrayed them all. I'm not sure how to deal with that for now, but my burden, not yours.
What happened in Greenville, man?
We were holding each other's hands, and that's it. It may sound worse than it is, but to me, that was a betrayal. It was unfathomable and unbelievable that it could be him. Someone that proposed to care about me, care about Rusty, care about my family, be a normal guy, be my boss, and he murdered my husband.
Did Andrea admit or deny an affair with her boss at that time after the murder?
Denied it.
Based on all the time you've known Andrea, based on your observations of her, her mannerisms, when she told you no, did you believe her?
No, but my heart really wanted to believe her.
But you didn't believe her. State's purpose is to convict the man that murdered Rusty Snyderman. And I wish the victim could be here. I no longer have the opinion that she can be, and make sure our trial's protected.
Based upon the state's request, I'm going to have her removed from the courthouse so that I can conduct this trial in a fair and just manner to the best of my ability.
I heard gunshots, and at that point in time, I walked right past my wife and I said, I think somebody just got shot. He was very pale-skinned. He had a fake beard on, which was very easily...
Why do you say the beard was fake?
It just extremely black.
After the car left, I ran up to the victim. He was like gasping for air.
That's what the victim was doing?
Yes.
He was, in my opinion, deceased before EMS arrived.
We identified the shooter's vehicle that he was driving, and Hemy Neuman's name was on the list for renting the vehicle, I believe, the day prior to the shooting and returning it the day of the shooting.
Was there any time during the 5.5 hours that you were talking to the defendant that you had concerns about his mental state?
No.
I've been hit. I've been kicked. I've been slapped. I've been whipped. And those things you don't forget.
Did all of those things happen to Hemy also?
If not more. If not a lot more.
His testing showed some disordered thinking, some disorganized thinking. It also showed some paranoia. It also showed that he was somewhat odd and had some weird magical thinking.
In his story, at one point he's saying he thought that they were having sex, and then he thought, well, maybe they didn't. There was something going on and somebody needed to check it out.
He was having more than an affair with Andrea Snyderman. He believed that he was the father of her children and that his children were in danger. That's where this rescue delusion comes in. And that he was going to protect them by killing Mr. Snyderman.
There's this back and forth, come, go, I want you, I don't want you. Instead of that being a turnoff for him, I think it draws him in even more, and he forms this twisted attachment to her.
Have you made a decision on whether or not you will be exercising your constitutional right to testify in your trial? You can consult with your lawyer, but it's your decision.
discuss it and we will not be testifying.
You used the term "we." No,
I will not.
That's what I need to know, whether or not you will be testifying, because only one person will take that witness stand at a time.
They will not be with me.
All right.
It's my opinion, based on the interview and based on the review of the documentations and all the collateral information, that Mr. Neuman would be considered under Georgia law criminally responsible for the murder of Rusty Snyderman.
I'm a great executioner. It's just, once the plan is in place, it's going to happen.
Did you ever have any reason to think this defendant was anything other than sane?
I had no indications of him being anything but normal.
I mean, why? Because they're my children. I couldn't let them be hurt. I couldn't let what happened.
Your temperament, your personality, the way someone who's methodical and tends to plan out things like an engineer, for example, that is separate from having a mood disorder. So if someone has, say, a manic episode, their basic personality traits and tendencies will remain intact. So they can be manic and still be very methodical.
The gun, in this case, was in Hemy's hand. But the trigger, I respectfully suggest, was pulled by Andrea Snyderman.
They can't have it both ways. Either the angel and the demon were talking to Hemy and telling Hemy to kill Rusty, or the demon that he was sleeping with, the demon that he was cheating with, the demon that he took trips with, the demon that defiled her marriage, the demon that came in here and testified, or testified, I should say. Either one set of demons was telling him to kill Rusty, or the other demon was telling him.
We, the jury, find the defendant as to count 1 guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, but mentally ill. Count 2, we, the jury, find the defendant as to count 2 guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Your Honor, success is not measured by the material things, but by the legacy of a man's acts and deeds. When he dies, who will stand up and say his life had any merit? His children? His wife? His lover? Not a soul will stand up on his behalf and vouch for his merit in his lifetime. His obituary is already written. It reads, Hemy Neuman, convicted murderer. Period.
I am so sorry. I can't say it enough. I can't say enough to all of you, to the precious children, all 5 of them, to the Snydermans, to the Greenbergs, my parents, the family, friends, and community at large. I'm sorry from the deepest part of me, Your Honor.
As a result of the finding of the jury and based upon all the facts and circumstances I've heard today, I'm going to sentence you to prison to life without parole. As to count 2, I'm going to sentence you to 5 years in prison to run consecutive to count 1, which is life without parole.